Okay, and good evening, everybody, and welcome to TFC Live, episode 21. So we've got the post-raid roundup, and it's the game updates for this week. Clearly, you'll notice we're light on the crew tonight. Liam, unfortunately, has come back and has picked up a horrendous bug. He's not a well man, so he's got a bit of, I think he's got a bit of man flu. He's bedded himself down today, so he does send his apologies and that sort of stuff. But obviously, Gadget and myself are here, and we've got a packed show because we've got an awful lot of slides to get through this evening. So I'll just say, good evening, mate. How's you? All right?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Okay, so we'll try to monitor chat as well and do the slides and jump, because obviously normally we're at least a 3-man team or a 4-man team, but tonight we are definitely a bit light. So, however, we'll go for the slides, which we'll bring up now. I'll share them and then we'll discuss as we go on. So I'll just get my screen up. We'll share it and we'll make a start.
Sounds good.
He says if he gets it going correct. How's that?
I'm not seeing anything except for your picture.
Oh, really?
Really?
That's not so good then, is it? Let me have another go.
There you go.
Is that better?
Yep.
Okay, so there we go.
Are you presenting yourself as well?
Well, I don't mind because there's only 2 of us. I think we can probably hover over each slide long enough, to be honest.
All right, beautiful.
Okay, so there we go. Episode 21, July the 19th updates, and obviously they came in quite smooth and quite quick yesterday. So let's have a look at the first one then. So slide content for tonight, and what we're going to cover basically. This release then includes obviously the raid roundup, which we'll have a quick 5 minutes on because we did about a good 3/4 an hour of that on Saturday's open mic, so we won't spend too much time on that. The new July Forsaken Mission prizes they're obviously available, and we'll have a look at those and discuss with those. The Megaship update, which we hinted about over the weekend. Information of the upcoming of the XP weekend, and also some information about the preview event that's set for tomorrow, reference to the new targets and the targeting system for subs, which the preview is, like I say, is tomorrow at Kixie time. So yeah, there's quite a few things there, and some of them are actually quite in depth and quite technical. So I think the July Forsaken Mission is probably the thing that people most want to hear about what's coming. So as it says there are actually new prizes entered the Forsaken Mission in their list that comes out today, and they've confirmed that the shards have been removed from Tier 5. So they've obviously topped up with some additional Tier 5 prizes. So let's have a quick look at those, shall we? So the infamous, and I've seen quite a bit on. Did you notice that, Dave, on the forum? There's quite a bit of like banter going on about the viability of these armors that have come out.
Yeah, I didn't really read anything on the forum about it. I know there's been a lot on there about it, but I mean I've got to kind of agree. I don't see me using these for anything, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the tier prizes. I mean, so this one here, Draconian armor that improves cloak efficiency, great, okay, and explosive defense. Well, we know that they've got obviously the core, on the Reaver fleets,
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure that there's going to be some sort of some sort of need for explosive defense in the upcoming event, and that's why they're doing it, right? I'm sure, but I just.
But it comes at a cost, doesn't it?
Exactly. You're gonna have to drop other stuff in order to use it.
And if you do, look at the repair duration there. That's 16 minutes. That's 16 minutes per sub. And
no, that's just on one armor as well.
Yeah. So you put 4 of those on a Tiger Shot. There's an hour's fix before you started. That makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's per sub. So on a 5-ship fleet, that's a 5-hour fix.
And this is a D3S. We're not looking. Not. This is the basic one.
Yeah, so that's a 5-hour fix on the lowest one. Before, on top of your normal repair.
So I mean, the armor points it gives you is negligible, 1,250. That's because you're going to. I mean, if you were a low level and you're using Kudas, you can only fit 1 plate on it. And to be honest, I would rather not put anything on it, and then just fix it quicker. Unless obviously you need to. They're going to have some crazy sort of sonar stuff.
Yeah, so would I. I think on something like a CUDA, I'd just leave it without armor and have it repair quicker, right? I mean,
yeah, I think so. Cloak efficiency 5%. I'm not sure whether this stuff goes straight in with the rest of the D system, and then if you've already retrofitted, then this stuff is automatically retrofitted already as well, because obviously that'll help, or it should do. But obviously in the retrofit, there's no discussion in there about ever having explosive buffs, so you're not going to get that to boost unless they do something to how the retrofit system's working, because you've got two basically plates amalgamated into one here, haven't you?
yeah, I see what you're saying. You know, basically, the only thing that you get on it is you would get a cloak efficiency buff, basically, if it went into the same field as the other D, if it went into the same field as the D2S.
Okay, well, we'll look at the stats of the other two, and we'll see if there's any chat on the YouTube chat and see what people think about it. So this is the first one. It's the light one. It's going to pop into tier 3, which is great because everyone should be able to get to tier 3, even if they go in and suicide something in one of the big targets. So everyone should be able to get to this, hopefully, even if you think your own fleets are absolutely atrocious. This is doable. Let's look at the next one, which is the tier 4, which is obviously the 50,000 points mark. So cloak efficiency stays the same, doesn't it? But the armor points go up. Looking at
the armor points, the explosive defense go up. Obviously, the weight goes.
So 2%. Yeah, got you.
Yeah, obviously the weight goes up, and the repair time.
Yeah, got you. 23 minutes instead of 16 minutes. Yeah, okay. So. Yeah, but the weight it's not that. Oh, it is. It's about just over 100, isn't it? So yeah, okay, all right then. So you got to pick your specials carefully as well, because obviously your armor points is important as well. So right, okay. So let's watch those figures again. So explosive defense has gone to 6%, repair time to 23 minutes, and the armor points. So the next one's got to be about 2,500, surely, isn't it? Oh no, 2.2. Okay, explosive at 8%. Well, to be honest,
half an hour repair time. I mean, that's not a massive hike, but you know, you think about it. 4 armor slots. That's 2 hours per sub. That's 10 hours on a 5 sub fleet that you're putting on there.
And I know you're going to talk a little bit about sub repair multipliers and that sort of stuff in a bit anyway, and potential future content. Even if they're putting it at 100%, you know, you need a multiplier of 0.75 or something like that to make that viable to put that on. You know. Because I mean, well, to be honest, I would looking at that then 7 minutes. I would never go for the D4S. I would go for the D5 if I was to fit this at all. Because
I agree.
For the extra buff there, I mean that's.
But weight might be a consideration.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, got you. Yeah, and the multiplicative effective of the armor, isn't it, as well? So you have to work out which one you're going to do first. Because you've got an 8%, then obviously mixed in with a 6%.
Yeah. And it's like someone in the chat just said, you know, is putting this armor on your sub actually going to stop your sub getting killed if spotted? And to be honest with you, I doubt that very, very much. So
I don't see that.
That's the sort of question you've got to ask yourself. Is it viable for you to put this on your sub? Because really, if you're spotted, your sub's going to die whether it's got this armor on it or not, I would expect.
I remember people with the Reapers days and that stuff putting anti-missile on their Reapers and that sort of stuff and thinking they'd survive. They still got smashed, and then they still got one hell of a repair bill. It's going to be the same thing, I think, to be honest. I don't know. And not only that, you know, if you've got the D2S on your system now and you're going to take that off, and then you're going to put this on as well, you've got the take off plus the put on as well. What benefit?
And the only thing you're really getting is a slight an 8% explosive defense.
Yeah,
I mean, I would say that there's, I don't know, man. I don't see that as being really that beneficial. It's not beneficial enough for me to want to refit stuff off my existing stuff to put this on. It's not a big enough benefit, right? I mean, 8%. It's you know. Yeah,
and to me, actually, I'm going to ignore the explosive defense piece. And I'm going to look at the cloak efficiency overall, based after, and I'll make my decision, I think, after I see the preview tomorrow, and then decide whether it's needed or not.
You have to see. What you have to do is do 2 builds, right? You have to do a standard build, and then you have to do a build with these on, and you have to test them in exactly the same target and do it in exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Hey, Monster joined.
Oh, hi, Stu.
You alright?
Has he got his mic on? Is he alright?
Yeah, he said hi. I didn't hear him. We're just talking about this new armor for the subs, Monster. What do you think about it?
Oh, I don't like it at all, mate. It's not something which I'm going to use.
Yeah, and I'm of the same ilk, mate, to be honest. I mean, I am a sub man as well. I mean, I've got every sub. I've kept every one that's not Forsaken, you know, the standard, you know, Preds and stuff. But everything from CUDA right the way through, I've kept every sub.
Someone just asked in chat, are you going to do that then, Mark? If you get into the preview, are you going to... You'll stream it with, and you'll use a sub setup without armor and a sub setup with this armor.
My plan is exactly. I was going to talk about that preview. I mean, we've got a slide for that in a minute. But my plan is to not only stream and then go through every subset I've got from CUDAs right the way to Tiger Sharks and that sort of stuff, and Banshees as well. But I'll also have the stream open so that people can come in and say, "Can you try this?" And because I've got all the hulls already there, I can just move them around quickly, do a quick refit, and I'll take them out. Yeah. So if someone's wants to try something, let me know. Watch the stream, and I'll put it up and I'll lock it to our page. And I'm more than happy to spend the 3 hours just doing things for other people. Doesn't bother me at all. Just so they don't waste bloody time and sodding money doing something and then regretting it. You know, because I think this is. I want as many people as I can to start this raid in a good order and not have to do something with the subs, which do cost a lot of money to move things around. You know, and then obviously think, shit, that didn't work. You know.
Yeah, this is it. You want to be careful before you make massive sweeping changes to your sub fleet, because massive sweeping changes to sub fleets tend to cost quite a lot of time or money.
And even if I add this armor, I'm only going to add it maybe a brick at a time and see what's needed. You know, and do it that way. So you know, concussive system, that sort of stuff will be on there. You know, but then I'm going to add these one at a time and see if the target's requirement at all, if they do requirement. Because it may be better to put some D2V on it and get your subs a bit faster, you know.
Or the streamlined cadmium.
Streamlined cad, yeah.
I've got on my crawler because it gives you a way better combat buff, and it increases turn speed.
And the turn, yeah. But then that's that trade-off against fixed time, isn't it? So you know, which cadmium's better, isn't it? In fact, we need to look at the cadmium.
Yeah, cadmium's real cheap to fix, and it's real quick to put on. It's only 19 hours because you got to pay 30,000 uranium for it, right?
So I don't know if I think I haven't looked at. Is this armor is the switch time? Just switch out one plane and switch another one. Obviously, needs to be in game to do that. So, but maybe if we get through the slides and have a look at that.
It will depend on the armor that you've got on there. It's generally speaking, it's about 20%. Of the time it took you to put it on in the first place is roughly what it costs you to take it off. Then there'll be the time to build this as well, right?
Got you. I think really tomorrow's stream is not actually about the targets for me. It's about, and I'm going to go back through it myself, even though I'm going to do the things, but I'm going to write down like what the cost was to swap them in, swap them out, and what was the effectiveness and that sort of stuff, and how far I managed to get into the target. So I'm going to do a bit more of a sort of like a technical analysis on the whole thing rather than just
preparedness stream.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah.
This is try and get as much intel as you possibly can on what's gonna benefit you the most and for the most bang for your buck, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And clearly, that's if I get in, which I will do my best. I'll be sitting here ready to hit that button as soon as that password gets up myself. I was fortunate. I've got really good connection speed, so I can manage to turn it around quite quick. I got in the last two. If I can, I will. But I'll post it as a stream. If it goes live, then please do feel free to come into the YouTube chat and then just ask for or it'd be really, really good if you could put, even on the Facebook page, is just put up a Huggies build and go, can you try this? And I will literally just flip between the two screens and I'll adapt, because there's plenty of coinage for subs, because subs don't take much to refit on coins wise, and I'll try your fit. So I'm more than willing to do that. And if somebody finds something good, and overcomes things, then great, we'll give them the credit for it. So, right, okay, so that's the Zinthionite armors, D3, 4, and 5. Let's move on. Oh, excuse me. So here's that new concussive weapon. I don't need to read out the plate stats, but basically it's for people who couldn't gain the Gatling gun, basically, but can now stand the charge and get into tier 5 in the FM. That's in a nutshell. So it's a similar thing to the Gatling gun. It's just not quite as good. But then again, the Gatling one was a top tier prize, wasn't it? In the raid at the time. and this gives you a second stab at it. So, what are your thoughts, gents?
I don't know, man. I'm not all that interested in this, but then I don't think that this is kind of catered towards me anyway. So
Yeah, again, like you said, if you didn't get the first one, then this is better than that. But yeah,
yeah, I've got the Gatling, the original one. So I don't feel that this is really even sort of aimed at me. Do you know what I mean? Which is fine.
Yeah, so I was just looking at the things like the ranges. So, okay, the range is 86.
Yeah, the range really sucks.
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned about the range because, you know, I was just thinking that the person that, let's just say he's got, I don't know, he's got toilets in his base and that sort of stuff, and he was going to chuck these on there, and if he gets the same range as what we do on a Rev, well, you know, you can tank that little thing up quite well, can't you? And it could get a few rounds off sort of stuff, but this has only got 86, so it's going to get kited.
Yeah, exactly. But then, you know, maybe it's geared more towards PvP. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be, I suppose. Yeah.
I mean, with the whole mega hull thing coming out, you know.
I mean, let's look. The weight's good. 260 is reasonable. That's okay, isn't it? So
Yeah.
you can put quite a few on. That's not too bad. Building damage is high. Yeah, you might be right because building damage is quite high. More than ship damage. And wall damage is reasonable. I mean, I mean, the salvo is only 5, so you're splitting it across the 5, so that's 500 per thing, isn't it? Just over. And then obviously you're putting sort of like 8 to 10 of these, or I don't know what. Let's just say 6 to 8 of these on a regular ship. That's reasonable.
but what ship would you put it on, mate? Do you know what I mean?
Well, they're going to be Punishers, aren't they? That's what they would do if they were going to do anything. You know, you would put these on a Punisher. I mean, that's most people's tank ship, isn't it? But then again, you got the range of 86, and the Punisher doesn't extend that range at all for anybody.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't see that much of a use for it myself. I mean, there might be other guys out there who come up with a really good use for it, but I personally, I don't see a use for it myself. I might be missing something, but I don't know.
I mean, okay, so the weapon type, we've got that there, which is concussive, so it's the same as the Gat gun. But then, does the Revenge have a boost?
Yeah, the Revenge has a 300% damage boost.
What about a range boost? Has it got a 10% range boost on the Revenge hull?
I'm not sure. I mean, basically, the range of this is going to outrange the, you know, there's 2 different ranges on the Gatling gun, right? And the really long range one doesn't do that much damage, right? It's the short range that does a large amount of damage. And that one is a lot shorter than this one.
Yeah, agreed. No, agreed. Yeah, totally agree. And the bonus reload there at 340%. That's really good because that's going to kick out an awful lot. And there's no secondary fire on this, is there? It's just a single shot, so you're not going to be switching from one to the other.
Yeah, no, it's
This is basically a pure Gatling gun, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's 234%. That's not taking into account your 75% rank bonus as well, right?
Yes, true. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, that thing's going to be quite ballistic, isn't it? When it's going to, once it's revved up and it's good to go. So.
Someone in chat said this is solely a token blocker prize.
Yeah, well, but ultimately, you know, if you're a level 15, you can get this. You know, I mean, okay, it's a tier 5 prize, but we know that some people can, you know, can quite easily that have got Punishers can now get to tier 5. We've seen plenty of people going and smash the 107s and know how to do it now. You know, even if you take up the 2 towers north and south. So it's not, you know, and if you couldn't get that Gatling with that Revenge, you've got something now. But do you know, even if you put 2 or 3 of these on your weapon, on your system, and just went off with, I don't know, just say you use the rest of them with launchers or something like that, and you put 2 or 3s in the back, it's another way, and it's another thing that someone has to defense against. You know, because not only got a defense against radioactive, they now got defense against concussive, and there's not much out there to defend you against concussive, is there? So. Yeah, PvP, PvE. You're right. You know, that is possible. You know, it's interesting. Well, okay. I mean, I won't be using it. I have to say because I don't need to, and I don't think anybody's got a gun in their right mind would use it unless all of a sudden I'm missing some sort of stat, like the bonus reload that isn't on the Gatling gun. You know, The good thing is it doesn't have to switch from a almost crappy sort of weapon to a really decent weapon. This is just full on. So, all right, okay, let's try the next one. So expansive concussive charge. We can read that there. So look at the splash on this thing and the concussive damage. So this is not a bad thing, is it?
Yeah, I mean, 60% splash, but I mean, if you're thinking about it, if you were using it on, for instance, that weapon that we just saw, the splash on it is 10, so this will just take the splash up to 16.
Yeah.
Right? You know, you have to bear that in mind. Damage is nice.
But the damage is nice, isn't it?
I like the damage buff.
Yeah, I do as well.
Oh, no, this is for a turret. This is for a turret.
Oh, yeah, it is. So this is going to go on scatters, isn't it? No, it's not.
No, this is for a turret, but it's 30% power consumed. That's quite high.
Oh, yeah, it is, yeah. Oh, yeah, my bad. No, it says on the bottom, quick return. I didn't even read my own writing.
This should have come. This shouldn't have come out yet. This should have come out after the.
Something's missing, isn't it? Oh, no, yeah. Hang on.
There's a turret slide.
Yeah. Let me look at this first, shall we?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I put them in the wrong order. That explains it now.
This is the daddy right here.
This is the fallback prize. Okay. In case anybody wasn't aware. So this is the go get prize. We've got a new turret, and this. Look at the bonus reload.
Yeah, 2,500%.
I thought that was a typo when I read it in plain text earlier in the week, and I was like, "You kidding me, are you?" That's mental, isn't it? So the damage. Look at that, 2,500. Split across a salvo of 2.
Yeah, but you could also, you know, with that special, you can take that up by 60%.
Yeah.
Right, so you can take that up to nearly 4,000 damage.
Okay, but look at the range.
Right, the range is 150. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's an awesome range. My cold snap's only 141, and it reaches my channel from the back.
And that's my point. This can go on, and then add that new special, the new AT, the Transformer special as well.
Yeah, that's another 30. That's another 30%. Not the ATR. The AT would be another 30% on the damage.
Yeah. Well, what's the one that does? I mean, it's a bit less.
I don't think you need a bit extra range, because if you put the ATR on instead of the AT, not only are you losing the 30% damage buff that you would get from the AT, but you're also losing a further 10% because of the ATR. So you're actually comparing the two, you're dropping 40% damage.
I mean, of all those ice ones, none of them do 150. One's 130. There's a couple. There's a 130.
Yeah, the only thing I use the ATR on is turrets in my base where I don't give a crap about the damage that they do, right? Like my Wendigo, my Glacial turret, my Cold Snap, my Drac coaxials.
It's just to push the field out further.
They're all things that I would put ATR on, but anything I care about the damage, I'd run AT. And this I would care about the damage.
So this in my mind replaces Wendigo really, in some respects. Because look, reload delay, 15 seconds reload delay time. I get that. So it needs to go on the island. There's no point having it up front. The reload time there is 4. Salvos are 2. The damage is good, and that's without the buff. It's got defense against concussive, which is great.
I just want to clear this up, because I saw somebody talking in forums or on our page earlier, and they were like, "Oh, you know, concussive defense bypass." I just need to be clear here. That doesn't apply to deflection.
No.
Right. That doesn't apply to concussive deflection. That only applies to concussive defense. Right.
Yeah. It's a raw stats. Yeah.
You know, if you're doing, say, 2,000 damage per projectile, and the guy's got 2,500 concussive deflection, you're going to do minimum damage. Right?
Yeah, because those new plates are out, aren't they, as well, for that. So, yeah. But then you boost that by this, the concussive damage by 60%.
Can you lock the screen on yourself, Mark? Because people are asking for it. And
hang on 2 seconds. Let me see if I can quickly do that a second. My apologies. This is where the new bit comes into me. So there we go. Right, try that. How's that now?
Yeah, that's good. It says you're presenting to everyone, so that should be locked on you now.
Okay, my apologies all. Right, so that one there. So that's the special to go on the turret. Great. Okay, great. And then with that, then so 6% obviously on top of 2,528. and then split that by 2 salvo.
But what's that maximum reload stacks about?
Oh, the special's bit, the wind-up, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it can only do 100 stacks, and then it doesn't fire after that?
I don't know.
That's an awful lot of stacks, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's why I'm asking, like, because I've not seen that before.
No. So I suppose if there is, then you want to make sure that you don't have it overlapping outside on the outer rim, so that they can bring in a prep fleet, exhaust, a ship with. No, it still wouldn't, would it? No.
Okay, so with that special on, after you've divided it by 2 for the salvo, you've also got to divide it by 2 again, right? Because
50%. Yeah.
Because damage is actually only half. You're looking at 1011.2 damage per projectile. But that's before fire supports. That's not taking into account fire supports. I mean, my fire supports, I get 95 damage, so I can basically get that up to about 2,000 damage per projectile with fire supports.
So with a standard reload time of 4, and then a bonus reload of 2,500%.
Yeah, I kind of don't get that stat, that 2,500%, because you can't go under 0.2 second reload anyway.
Yeah, on anything.
Right.
Ship or turret.
So once it hits 0.2 seconds, that's the best you're going to get. But even at that, I mean, 0.2 seconds, dude, that's a potential 2,000 damage per projectile coming out, and it's going to be launching like 10 projectiles a second.
Yeah.
So that's 20,000 damage. That's potentially 20,000 damage per second coming out of that gun.
I wonder if that's where the stacks come in.
Yeah, I think you're right, mate. That's why there's 100 stacks. Once you've expended your 100 stacks, that's it. So placement's going to be critical because you don't want to waste those stacks.
Yeah.
Or is it 100 stacks and then it delays the reload by 15 seconds? Because look above the maximum reload stacks.
Yeah, I know. That's why I questioned it, like, because it just seems a bit odd thing to put in it.
So that maximum reload stacks, does that mean it only fires like? I don't understand what that means.
No.
I don't understand what that means. The maximum reload stacks.
Reload delay. Oh, reload decay time. So.
I mean, I get the decay time. That basically means that if you go that long between, if they send
you lose
in
your bonus.
if they send in one ship at a time and you kill that ship and then they wait for 15 seconds, that reload time will go back to 0 again, back to where it started, right?
That's a bit like sitting your Apollo still for 3 seconds, and you got to round them up again, yeah.
Yeah, same thing, right? That I understand. It's the maximum reload stacks I don't get. I don't understand what the hell that is.
Well, we'll soon find out when we get it in our. Well, we'll have to get some. This is the fallback price. We're not going to get it for a couple of weeks anyway. So interesting. All right. Well, it's. I mean, the fact is, I like the range. That's good. I like the fact that it's a concussive weapon. That's interesting as well. I can't wait to see it fire.
I don't see a submerged damage stat there, so I would assume that it doesn't hit subs. Just something to think about there.
Yeah, so don't rely on it for that.
Well, I would say don't go replacing turrets that you have that do hit subs with this, and then complaining when subs get in your base, right?
But they sort of like should almost negate the fact of needing a revenge, because a lot of people are going for revenges in their guard, aren't they? Because it does concussive damage. You could almost take it out and put this in instead as a single turret, and then you go and choose a different ship instead. Potentially. We'll see how it fires. I'd like to say, Stu said, I don't get the maximum reload stacks yet, but then I'm probably just missing something really simple, but I don't quite get that yet.
It probably is, but if like Dave was saying then, if it's firing like 10 shots at a time, that 100 stacks that'll stack up quite fast. Though.
Yeah, 100, that would basically take you 10 seconds.
Exactly.
To reach.
And they're all gone.
But I mean, potentially in 10 seconds, you could be doing like 250,000 damage downrange.
True,
right?
And obviously when the ship's dead, it's not going to fire anymore. So 100, yeah.
And I mean, also, you could somewhat negate it by the way you placed them, right? I mean, if you had one somewhat forward and then one set back far enough, then, you know, it's like you'd only trigger the one with the first ship, and then if you came in further, you'd trigger the second one.
Look at the total capacity, mate. 1 of 1.
Oh yeah, that's it's limited. It's limited.
Yeah, it's a limited fallback, mate. So you're gonna have to place it.
I still think it's an interesting turret.
I like it.
I mean, I don't think it's going to really hurt Vendettas too much. Do you know what I mean? But I still think it's a really interesting turret. I'm definitely going to build it.
Yeah, me too. And I can think where I'm going to put it as well. So that's not right at the front of my channel, so it in front of my island, but a little bit back. So once they've committed and they've started to really go for it, then it will start doing its business. And maybe actually let it overlap then with the Revenge I've got in there. So they've got 2 things that are doing concussive and firing consecutively at the same time, and let them stack off each other, and do excess damage. And then they've got to decide what they want to target as well. Anyway, food for thought. Good. More good stuff for base defense and makes people think. I like it. Okay, so we move on. So here we go. So skirmish foundry components. As you can see there, and we're looking at obviously the ships that are going to go into the foundry to be buffed, which we knew was going to be the Barracuda, Spectre, the Nighthawk, and the Tiger Shark. But it says that this will include. Well, I'll read that a little bit in a second. Okay, so they're going to buff up the stealth attacks. Okay, but to get these items there, you're going to need to Caterpillar Drive 1, 2, or Magnus Drive 1 and 2. And that's the tier prizes, basically tier 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's going to be a bit of buff, but in contrast to that, the bottom line is absolutely paramount, I think, which I know Stu's going to be very happy about. So this will include changes to the submarines that will work and how they work, okay, and to increase their usefulness in combat while reducing their opportunity to exploit their mechanics. Read between the lines, that is no more zombie subs coming. Agreed?
Yeah.
Yep, that's a good thing.
It's about time too.
Yeah, and I know millions of people will turn around and go, I think it's a bad thing, that sort of stuff. But if they change the mechanics on the launch times and the repair times, and then make you come out with a sub that's actually, I don't know if it's going to 100%, but whatever. But basically, the sub mechanics is going to change rapidly, and it'll probably be done in the next 10 days.
Nice.
So, it's not going to be yet because there's more information to come next week. So they're not settled on it yet. They're still playing with it. I think they'll probably use in the preview tomorrow to make some more adjustments as well. But we'll see. But it's definitely en route, isn't it? And it needs to be.
Oh yeah, Stu. I don't know if you heard or not, but Raken did a big post in the in the forums saying, as part of our overall skirmish submarine plan, along with preserving efforts towards a more balanced and competitive PvP environment, we are going to be significantly reducing the effectiveness of surface-based weapon submarines.
Oh, nice. It's about bloody time as well.
I thought you'd peek up. Now, come off it. Let's be honest, all right? That was a fast response to a potential complete nightmare.
I agree. I think they've done really, really well.
Yeah, okay, hats off. Okay, because I know you sent in some stuff, and I know a lot of big players sent in some stuff, and said, guys, what are you doing? Think about this.
Yeah, I was really annoyed about it, but I can't fault them for their response to it, right? Yeah. I think they've obviously looked at it and they've responded. You know what I mean? So
and well done to the guys that picked up on that straight away and built a certain type of ship to counter everybody's guards. You had fun for a while, and good on you. Great. That's the game. It's thinking on your feet and making quick adjustments. And some people had some great fun. It's going to come to an end very quickly. But proof of the pudding is the community asked for something, highlighted an issue, and they've responded very fast. So I'm actually really impressed, I have to say. Quite pleased with that, to be honest. So yeah, so look forward to that. Then the skirmishers foundry line comes online. We knew those was going to be the subs, that sort of stuff. And Banshees were never going to be in it because that was a limited prize from obviously an event, wasn't it? Which was not open to everybody. So because that was a restricted prize for only the top 3 or 5 people that actually took part in in one of the other events. So
have they actually? The problem is though here, again with the Barracuda and the Spectre, I can see it being sweet, but there's still the same problem with the Nighthawk and the Tiger Shark, right, is the Phantoms are not going to then, you know, once you start retroing your Tiger Sharks in the Foundry,
do they mirror?
They're then going to be out of sync with your
Yeah.
Phantom Tiger Shark. And the same's going to go for Nighthawks. Once you start to retro your Nighthawks, they're going to be out of sync with your Phantom Nighthawk. So you need to bear that in mind. I mean, I'm sure Kixeye has some sort of a plan to address it, but as yet, we haven't heard anything about that. So you might want to bear that in mind before you go rushing to get your Tiger Sharks or your Nighthawks foundried up.
Because the last thing there's two things you don't want. You don't want one turning faster or one turning slower than all the others, and you certainly don't want one whose dive time is completely screwed up compared to all the other dive times, because it's popping up and that stuff. It's going to trigger something, a massive wave of mortars, and all of a sudden, surfaced or not surfaced, your other one's going to getting taken out by radioactive explosive.
Exactly, and I would tend to just hold off on foundrying my Nighthawks or Tiger Sharks until Kixeye releases whatever it is they're going to do to fix this little problem.
Mm. Well, we'll never know. Something might come up in tomorrow's preview and that sort of stuff. There's a few things that I know they're looking at, but I don't know how they're going to implement them myself. And we've discussed this about the Phantom aspects. And it's got to be in line with the rest of the fleet, otherwise it's going to be a complete cluster. But we'll see. We'll wait out. So, like I said, there's more information there to follow next week. We'll wait out, but I'm hoping some of this will obviously come through into the preview for tomorrow.
I mean, I suppose as long as the stuff that is done to them doesn't affect speed, turn speed, or dive time, then it's kind of moot, right?
But what else would you want?
Well, I'm not saying what you want, but what they seem to be doing is giving you like assault DPS, right? Do you know what I mean? So
pointless.
Yeah, I agree, but you know that's just what they seem to have been doing. I don't know. I have no idea what the stats improvements would be, right?
No, me either. I've got no clue. No clue yet.
So I couldn't say, but I mean, as long as they're not messing with any of them three things, I suppose it's kind of moot because it won't really affect anyone.
But if you go and charge out and get lots of targets and that sort of stuff, are you going to risk having all that damage just for something that gives you extra DPS? To be honest, you can do that with adding and taking away torps and that sort of stuff, and adding crews.
I don't know. Nighthawks could do with DPS because Tiger Sharks already have DPS added to them, right? And you know, if you look at the damage, how quickly a Tiger Shark fleet can take down something compared to how quickly a Nighthawk fleet
Someone's guard. Yeah, no, you're right. It is true.
I think the Nighthawks could actually do with a DPS buff, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I'm not so sure about the Tiger Shark needing it, but the Nighthawk definitely.
Tiger Shark might get something different. Well, let's not be impatient.
So could the Cuda and the Spectre. You know,
definitely,
the Spectre and the Nighthawk could all do with DPS buffs.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So let's not be impulsive and let's not be prejudging it. Let's see what comes and let's see what the stats are, and we can maybe discuss that as soon as we see it, either in one of the open mics or maybe next week's show. So we'll look at that. Okay, so next little chapter then. Let's look at the megaships. I know you guys are definitely up on this, and I still haven't even built my gantry yet personally because I was concentrating on other things. So there was a brief that came out, and I've just chopped out the most important bits. It was what I thought the most important bits. Obviously, you can link into it and go onto the forum page and look at general discussions, and it's in there on I think third tab down. So, as we know, the Hyperion is going to be the most powerful ship on the world to date. Once you've claimed it, and you can build it straight away in the gantry, just go in and click build it once you've got enough parts. And that's the picture of the ship. That's what's coming. And I know there was a couple of people have actually got the hull on the sea now. Any of your alliance got it built yet?
You can't have the hull on the sea yet. It's not possible to have the hull on the sea yet.
Oh, that's interesting.
The hull is like a 47-day build or something.
Yeah, and 40-odd day build, mate.
Yeah, and there's no coin in it. So if you've already got the mega hull on the sea, you're doing something you shouldn't be.
Something naughty. And what's interesting, because I did see a video clip where somebody showed one. Now, whether they were in a preview or something or other or something else, but someone was comparing the size of that compared to the standard raid targets we've just had. So
yeah, no, the mega hull's just as long, if not a little bit longer, than the gantry to build, and I don't have an option to coin it. So
the thing I put this picture up because I quite like it because you can show the different the turrets, and that sort of stuff. Well, not the turrets, but basically they're going to be platforms, aren't they? And you can swap them interchangeably, instantaneously, without having to build time reduction times and taking them on, taking them off, and that sort of stuff. So you can just swap the modules in and out.
Yeah, it looks really interesting.
Yeah, it does. It generally looks interesting and that sort of stuff. And I have fallen behind on this, but I was doing Alliance stuff myself and some other business. So, but you can see the number of slots there, which I like. It's good. You can see the combinations and that sort of stuff. And it sort of follows the targets in the 103, doesn't it? Size-wise, and the shape looks very, very similar to what we're expecting to see.
Yeah, I'm really excited to find out about this. I mean, honestly, one of the key things for me is going to be how long does it take to repair after a battle?
Yeah.
Right. That's going to be one of the key things for me. That's going to make it or break it. But I'm still really excited about it. I think it has potential to either be a complete and total flop, or a really, really, really popular.
An additional bit of real good fun.
Yeah. It all depends on which way they go with it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm really excited to see where they actually go with it.
Yeah, and those are Thud Cannon 5s, aren't they, or something like that? They look good, don't they? Takes it right back to basics when we were doing Blackwater days, doesn't it?
It looks like a World War. It looks like it's got World War II battleship turrets.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, exactly that. Apart from obviously those stacks at the back, those ridiculous mortars, but they look like something. I don't know, Predators on the back or something. I'm not quite sure, but yeah. But you can see the number of the modules, which is great to see. So it gives you a good indication. And there's 2 different color schemes there for the modules as well. So you've got. I don't know if that makes much of a difference because each of the color schemes are grey and a lighter grey, a dark grey, light grey, but they both got both types in each slot. So I don't know, but there's 10 modules there in total. So based off that, so that'll be interesting.
But remember, this is going to be a long process because you got to collect stuff in order to be able to build these modules. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, totally. And we go on to that. So it says, as you can see, then there'll be multiple slots on the megaships which you can then build, refit, and swap and rotate modules. Captures will start with an engine, okay, which is interesting. Does that mean you can actually sail this thing, as you move it, or you just got to put an engine in whether you like it or not? It doesn't actually move on the.
Well, no, I think if you've got an engine on it, it will move during combat. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think. I seem to remember reading that was something that you could take off and switch for something else, right? Do you know what I mean? But then it would be a choice as to whether you wanted to be totally immobile and have this feature, or whether you wanted to be slightly weaker but be able to move. You know what I mean? So it's kind of going to be like a trade-off.
Yeah. So I was thinking, engine, bridge, and then obviously the weapon modules. Weapon modules for defense. The engine if you want to move it around, and probably like we've been doing prepping, the bridge is probably going to be the last thing to blow. I'm guessing, but we don't know.
Yeah, I would expect so.
Excuse me. So. The good thing is the module always comes with a mega weapon permanently attached to it. You don't have to chop it in or chop it out, but you can obviously modulate those as you go up through Forsaken R&D, which then makes a big hint as to R&D levels are going to start going through the roof up past level 30, aren't they?
Well, they're going to have to start either before mega hulls can be built or right at the same time as mega hulls are getting finished building, right? So that lets you know that the R&D 31 plus is coming very, very soon. Well, within the next 2 months. It's going to have to, right? Because I mean, I think I've got under 40 days left on my mega hull now.
Got you.
And I know there are other people that started their mega hulls just a little bit before me. So I mean,
And there's no ability to coin the Hyperion, is there?
No, not at present.
Okay, so generally, no, they generally and genuinely cannot be one on the sea at the moment. It's not possible because if it can't be coined, no one should be able to have one.
No, you can't. You can't have a Hyperion on the sea at present. There's no way to speed it up.
I wonder how long the new R&Ds are going to be.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I don't know.
It's going to kind of suck if, like, you say R&D 31 is for a weapon, but it takes like a week to do.
Yeah, but then I suppose if it's for the cannon, and you can just say, right, now I've got cannons, I can slam them all on.
But Stu, everybody who's building mega hulls would be able to go out, smash bases, and get your week's R&D done in a day.
True. Yeah, that's a thing I didn't think about. So that would encourage people to do more basics again, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but only if they're at a certain level of R&D, though.
Yeah, but anyone who's doing the mega ships will be over level 30 R&D, won't they?
They need to be, yeah.
right? So then that should mean that
you have a pop up on the outside of your base in your disc.
That should mean that you should be able to get decent time off them.
Yeah. And look at this, they can also be stolen from rival megaships as well. The resources. So not only you can steal people's R&D time, it says here you can also be stolen from the rival megaships, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be a feature of it, that basically, you know, when you win battles, like when you win megaship battles, you can steal their megaship tech and keep it for yourself, basically.
That's brilliant, isn't it? That's brilliant. I like that. It's going to make it really interesting, I have to say. It's got a lot of potential. I just hope it's all mapped out and it all makes absolute sense. So it's building to something quite good fun, I think. And there's one more slide. So there you go. That's the placement of the turrets for those that haven't seen it. So and obviously, you know, similar to a normal build, and a special slot to boost as well. So the central slot there is the special slot, and you can upgrade your modules with more slots. So as you upgrade your modules, more slots will open up. So obviously you start with the first 3 in the back. So I think, you know, you just see 3 unlocked there. The moment that your weapons at the front unlocked. So it'd be interesting.
I hope that's a placeholder, because 10,000 tons doesn't sound like much of a megaship to me, mate.
No.
My ghost crawler weighs more than that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? My ghost crawler's over 18,000 tons, mate. So, I mean, I really hope that's a placeholder number right there, because, you know, if it's a megaship, one would expect it to be a hell of a lot higher than that.
Well, we just had a base defense hull with 500,000, so, you know, it'd be interesting, wouldn't it? We said the 500k, didn't we, on the new base defense ship? So, you know, it's yeah, it needs to be up there at least, doesn't it? So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So that's what I've got on the megaships. The rest of it, it's on the forum. You can go and read it. I mean, it's quite a long old post, but most of it just goes over the stuff about building your gantry and then what you got to do to collect bits to go and start your Hyperion and that sort of stuff. So
yeah, there's no real firm details out yet at the moment. No. You know, when it comes to like modules and everything else, you know, you're just going to have to wait for that info to come out like the rest of us.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so that's the megaship piece. Oh yeah, sorry, and there you go. So module stats, new types of modules in the future gameplay. Hiving, which everybody knows about that bit, the hiving that's coming, where you can hive ships together to fight against somebody else's. So you've got 3 or 4 of them in your alliance, and you fit them out in different fits. They can overlap a little bit like an Aurora sort of stuff, and then they can two or 3 can overlap one maybe and fight against it, and then share their capabilities. So
yeah, well, I think you can have certain modules that grant
certain bonus tech.
That grant buffs to other hived megaships, right? So if you've got like say 3 or 4 of you that always play together, that have your megaships built, but for one you would want to build your megaships with that in mind. You know, like, you know, you'd want to learn when the battle spawned, when it started, where were your megaships positioned? You know, and then you're going to have to, you know, you're going to want to play to each other's strengths and weaknesses, right?
It's a bit like Trumps in the old days, isn't it?
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You'll want to look at where one of your members' hive megaships is slightly deficient, and maybe use a module on your megaship that buffs his megaship in that area, right? Do you know what I mean? It's really interesting. I mean, it's got to me, it has a huge amount of scope if they get it right.
But do you know what I like? The fact is just to say you go 1-to-1, all of a sudden you notice that your opposing ship that you're fighting has got a certain ability that yours doesn't happen, and one of your other alliance members is coming on and he's got a buff to that. You could call him into the fight, you could hive together, and then you could bring back the balance potentially, because obviously it's quite clever the way it's a maths game, we get that, you know, but it's going to be really interesting, I think, you know, because you'll be able to, I mean, once they're in, they probably have to stay in. But, you know, if you want to buff in one specific area, like a certain fleet comes in, and I don't know, this is its concussive fleet comes in, and you haven't got much concussive defense, but someone's got one that can hive in that's got concussive boost, you kill off that hull, and if he was to drop out, and then bring in another one that's got a penetrative defense or something, I don't know, we'll see how it goes. But the potential sounds great. I think it'd be really interesting. We'll see. But there we go. So that's the megaship side. I don't think there's any more on those. So no, here we go. So VXP weekend, no real changes to the VXP. They're standard now, aren't they? So apart from it's going to be great fun ranking this new defender hull. So I think triggering targets as we all suggested by sending in a gunboat or something else, and then obviously letting that boat just take a pounding. I think
yeah,
it's better.
still somewhat worried about it. I mean, the amount of because of the way VXP works, right? Because of the way you get VXP. I don't know, man. It's like
it's going to be interesting. You're either going to do it or you're not going to bother.
Well, I don't know. With that 500,000 armor, I'm starting to feel like how many bloody times am I going to have to hit one of these targets to get skulled? Right? I mean, when you think about it, you know, if you go out and hit a 75 with it, I think you could get like 1 VXP from it.
Well,
do you know what I mean, mate?
Yeah. Unless they bring out, you know, remember the old targets. What was the Reaver target? What was the target? You used to go out and take out the 4 ships first, and then basically you come out there and you got like something like, I don't know, did that 3 times.
It was a Reaver. That was the one with the Hellhounds.
The Hellhounds, and yeah, you just took out the Hellhounds.
Yeah, and you just killed the Hellhounds.
And and then basically that was enough, and you did that 3 or 4 times with a blue salty crew on, and then you were done. That was it, because it had such a massive bonus to that single target. And this thing's going to have to do something similar along those lines. I can't see how else it's going to do it, because it's got, like you say, it's got so much protection points against it. But yeah,
it's going to be interesting for sure.
Well,
but I mean, on the plus side, with the build time of this things and the tokens that were available in the raid, there's no reason why you can't have 2 or 3 of them slow built and maybe not fully built exactly how you want them. But you can have them built with a couple of launchers on them and like no specials and no armor, which is perfectly going to be enough for you to rank them, right? So
agreed.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, no, totally agree with you.
And nice to see them continuing with the current trend in build times.
Yeah, I must admit, and that was noted on the open show. There was a lot of people really happy about that in the chat and on the panel as well. So yeah, good work on that again. There's been a lot of pros lately. There have been a lot of pros lately. Okay, so there we go. There's the dates, there's the times, there's the locations, there's the targets, that sort of stuff. So, yeah, okay. And the 123 Reaver Armada spawns, obviously, Friday AM till Saturday, 9 AM as well. So, at alternative times, which will be interesting. That's the same deal as before. So.
Yeah, it's exactly the same deal as last time.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, the Reaver ones will probably be, I would say, will probably be easier for ranking the Vanquishers in. Right?
Probably will be, yeah.
Well, because they all move, right? There's no land in there. Do you know what I mean?
It may pay to wait, yeah. It may pay to wait.
You know, so you can go in there and trigger them, and they're all going to come on you, right? Whereas in the other ones, you've got land based targets in there as well, right? So
yeah. So this is just a quick slide about tomorrow's preview. As you can see there, it starts at obviously Kixie time, 3 PM, that sort of stuff, which I obviously plus 8 for us, which is a good time to start in the evening. So as long as I can get in, like I said, I will stream for the full duration. And as I say, the preview feature then, the skirmisher line will be in there. So with the foundry features, which will be interesting, several changes to the submarines as well as the event targets themselves for September. So I don't think it's going to be just one set of targets. I think they'll have a broad spectrum of targets by the sounds of it. And obviously going to be similar to the Reaver target as well for the VXP weekend, so that gives a bit of a hint there as well.
And as usual, this thing is going to be full about 30 seconds after they release.
Yeah, limited to 300-ish people, you know, and that sort of stuff. So it'll be. Come on, let's be honest. There's 60,000 potential players, and it's going to be limited to 300 people. So be hot with those keys. That's all I can say. You know, as soon as you find, you know, the access to get into the thing, copy and paste it straight in and do your absolute best to get on. Good luck to those that do get on. If I do, you know, you need a quick connection to do this. You really, really do. Otherwise, you don't stand a chance. We'll see. But yeah, it'll be all passed up tomorrow on the server, as he said, as the normal sort of place. They'll post the link to the shortcut to obviously the previous server, and then literally just before they go, or as they go live, they'll post a password. First 300, in you go. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully I'll get in, and if not, you know, I'll look around the different forums for other people streaming. But if I get in, I promise you I will stream it and I'll respond to anybody's requests. That's my plan. Unless I get inundated and there's hundreds, but I don't think so. But what I won't do is, obviously, if I do get in, I won't stream, you know, a build and then someone comes in half an hour later and then they go, oh, I want this build. If I've already done it, I've done it. You know, you'll have to just go back and look at the playback later on. So that's
fair enough, mate.
Yeah, there's no point going over the same stuff twice. It's just, once it's done, it's done. And I'll probably just take a little notepad with me to the side here and I'll write down what I've done. So, because otherwise I'll forget. Last slide then. So bug fixes and tuning for this week. So fix an issue where the retrofitted Citadels were not receiving the benefits that it should have got, been granted them by the Harlock Citadel flagship effect. I didn't know it wasn't, to be honest. I knew there was the buff that they were getting. Obviously.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. No, I didn't know it wasn't either. I knew that the Vendettas were getting.
Yeah, because I've seen no one actually go back with other Citadels, so they just pushed it with the Vendettas.
The Vendettas were getting the benefits. I didn't realise that the Citadels weren't.
Maybe they just turned it off full stop, and now they've just reinstigated it for the Citadels. Now it's fixed.
But either way, it's working as it should now, so that's good.
And then, obviously, with the earlier update, obviously they've just noticed this is a hot fix that's just come in this afternoon, and it may have been done and dusted now. But yeah, when you look at your weapons, your armor, and your specials, there's that funny green bar where the writing, which is obviously just a graphical error, but it just looks like there's a progression bar, doesn't it now? Which is why I put the picture up as well. You know, where it's, I don't know if you've noticed it. But they're going to put a hot fix into that. For some reason, then the type is highlighted by a green text box, which shouldn't happen. So that's the only issue. It's a graphical thing. It doesn't do anything for the game, that sort of stuff. It shouldn't be there. It should be black, the same as that with white writing. So it only happened, something went wrong in the update. But they'll put a hot fix out for that and get that back. So it's just a pictorial thing. It doesn't do anything else. And that's it. That's the slides. Yeah. We're done. So we'll go back to normal. So that just gives us a couple of minutes, really, then to just discuss the raid, because that's one thing we haven't done. Thoughts on it overall? What about lag time and target availability?
I thought the raid was awesome, personally. I was done my raids in under 20 coins and under 2 hours. And then I just went and did something else for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, I was pretty much the same, mate. I spent a bit longer than Dave because I didn't even coin my bloody fleet fix, mate.
Really?
I just hit 310. What is it? 103 was the S's.
Yeah, the big ones. Yeah, the super soaps. Yeah.
And then put my fleet on fix for 3 hours, for just under 2 hours, and then I hit another 3. Do you know what I mean? I didn't even coin it, mate.
I think the absolute thing is anybody that managed to get themselves an Apollo had a whale of a time.
Yeah.
Even if it's just one Apollo, where they could then drive it out in front of their retargeting ships, and then just use that to dance around in front. Even if it's in A sets and that sort of stuff, tons were doing B sets. The only thing I did think the spawn of the B sets wasn't quick enough. Sometimes there wasn't enough of them. I saw an awful lot of A sets. I don't know it's about depreciating of repetition, that sort of stuff. You know, once you start wiping them out, you know, they don't necessarily come back with the same target every time. Sometimes it comes back with another level target. So
I just love the speed at which I can do my raid now.
Yeah.
Right. That's what it is. Right. With my Apollos, I can be done. I could be done in 2 hours, dude. I mean, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right? That's absolutely phenomenal. I can have everything I want in 2 hours and be done with the raid for the rest of the weekend. Do you know?
And the other thing I like as well, a lot of people don't, but I think I'm hoping they're starting to understand. The prize pool is done in such a way that the left-hand tier is the things that you really should be getting, and the right-hand tier is the stuff that are nice to haves. You know, all the Apollo stuff and everything to make sure that you could do all the PvE and then get yourself to a position where you can be active and take part is generally going to be on the left-hand flank of this system.
Well, if this new Megaship stuff, you've got to go out and get stuff, mate. The Apollos are going to have a hell of a lifespan now. Yeah,
definitely. And, you know, I mean, like I said, I did a video the other day showing even hitting the Armadas, you know, Armada 75s, and because they're so goddamn fast, if you sit at 90 degrees to the target ship, you know, you can outrun their cannon fire, and they fire behind you. You've gone past them.
You don't even need that now, man. You go in with a Vanquisher and a bunch of Rhinos, and you can do them for instant repair.
Yeah, some are. If they built them right, they're doing it for instant. But not everybody took that right-hand flank. Some went, obviously, well, most will, hopefully, went left and got the Apollo.
Yeah, but that's the point. But whether you took the left flank or the right flank, you should now have a fleet that's capable of doing Armadas for free.
Yes. Yeah, no, fair point. Yeah. So, yeah, Agreed. So I knew there was a bit of a glitch, wasn't on the prize redemption once the raid had finished in some areas, but I think that got sorted out quickly. But I know a lot of people got to the end, and there was a couple of issues which were tickets were resolved even at the weekend quite quickly, where some people were collecting one prize and it was giving them a prize from another from the opposite side of the tier box. Whether they made a mistake and clicked the wrong thing, whether it was genuine, I don't know because I didn't experience myself. But I know most individuals and the two guys from my alliance had that fixed within half a day. So well done to the Kixie again on answering those tickets really quickly, and that was quite decent to see because sometimes it just goes on forever. Anything else on the raid, gents?
No, I didn't have a problem with that. During the raid, I thought it was really good. It was cheap and easy to do.
I just want to address something. It's nothing to do with the raid, right? But you know, there's been a couple of people in chat that seem a little bit upset with what they perceive as Kixeye nerfing launchers on subs, right? And I got to say, I fully agree with whatever they're going to do to nerf launchers on subs. You know, this new launcher, it basically makes it so that, you know, a level 50 guy with a Tiger Shark fleet can go and do a refit and go and smash top level player bases, right? You know, absolutely take them apart. All it takes is for the guy to be asleep, and you can go in there, prep out all his guards, and smash his base. And that shouldn't be possible. You know, there shouldn't be a weapon that comes out that allows a guy who hasn't even been playing in the game that long to be able to go and smash a guy who's been playing the game for 5 years and what have you, right? It shouldn't be like that. So I think if they have to nerf launchers and surface weapons on subs in order to balance that, then that's a good thing for them to do. And you know, but that's just my opinion.
No, it is, mate. And you're right. They nerfed the Reaper fleet because you were able to do that. You were able to just sail in and knock out anybody's guard, and they completely nerfed that fleet. And you shouldn't be able to put any weapon on a sub which you can go in, like Dave just said, and wipe out someone's entire guard.
I mean, yeah, okay, I'm not going to spend another hour on doing a second show just on this one issue. Okay, I acknowledge, and I hope they acknowledge that, well, I do know they acknowledge it because I've spoken to them, and I know that you have, Dave, as well. That was an oversight on their part. It was an oversight. Yet again, as I mentioned in last week's show, and definitely in the open mic, 60,000 people are always going to outsmart a team of 20 people or so strong just through the bare mechanics of you've got 60,000 brains working against 20. That's going to happen. And there are certain people in this game who do nothing but work around the system, as I do on certain things on PvE and that sort of stuff. I always look for the method to work outside the box. And this is another one of those working outside the box moments that really worked. And for the Bright lads, they picked up on it and instantly went and coined their tigers and adjusted to the new launcher. I get it. I absolutely get it. But if you
so do I. But if you do that, you also have to take the fact that when they realise what you've done and fixed it, that's on you. You went and spent the coin to refit it to exploit a loophole that you saw. But when they then close that loophole, then, you know, easy come, easy go. It's your problem now, right?
Yeah, it is. But having left, if you were to leave that loophole in there, all the good work that was being done would have been undone in one afternoon. The months and months of work that they've done. So, you know, and I'm not saying and I'm just Mickey's comment there. Not every BP player's got a brain. Well, they have because they wouldn't be breathing. But not everybody is that smart. But it only just takes one person to think of something, and then someone goes, "Oh, I get that. But if I adapt it this way," and the next person goes, "Yeah, but if I adapt it this way," and there's that chain event, and eventually you come up with the right answer just through the sheer mass of the population. And that's, you know, and Brian did mention there's a certain name for it, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head because I'm not that smart myself. But there is actually a thing where actually the population will outsmart the thinkers just through natural, you know, pure numbers, just pure numbers, you know, and trial and test. And if Kixie were going to do that, they'd have to have the biggest, you know, they would be the biggest gaming company in the world. It's just not possible. It's not going to happen.
And when something throws the balance of the game out this quickly, I think it needs to be addressed, and I think they're right to address it. To be honest with you.
Yeah, because it would have killed it. Well, it would have turned off an awful lot of big players.
I could see a lot of people walking away over it.
Yeah, because there are plenty of games out there. Always, at the end of the day, it's about expense versus fun. And if you're getting no fun because you're not getting value for your expense, you're going to switch off. But that's it. Right, good. Okay, so I think we've covered that to death. And I've seen I've flipped through all the forums, the various ones, all the shows that people are running, and the general consensus is the same as, oh look, they've just nerfed it and that sort of stuff. No, they've just brought it back in line, to be honest, and it was an oversight. That's the way I look at it. I'm not saying they've called it an oversight, but it definitely has been an oversight by somebody. We're humans. They're humans, sorry. And I would do the exactly same thing when I break in a fix myself. So I think they've done the right thing, and the turnaround they've done it in is great. It's been effective for people.
And Stu's not a human; he's a monster.
He is a monster, but he was a very pissed off monster as well. And fair dues, mate. Fair dues. You are a top end player. Well, both of you are far more than me, and to see within 10 minutes of that happening, I was like, my God, this is going to upset some big players in this game, and if you roll the top players, the rest may as well just roll over and shit it, because they're going to have no chance, because you guys get the latest tech and do the best things with your bases, and if you can't keep them out, everybody else is screwed. So that's the way I look at it. So it doesn't even affect me, but I'm glad it's being adjusted, and so quickly. So it's good. So if nobody's got anything else, I think we'll wrap it there. Any closing points, guys? Content?
All good.
Yeah. So like I said, I'll just finish by saying if I can get into the preview tomorrow, I will stream. I'll give it a go. I'll put up a ticket on the front of our TFC page to say that I am, and I'll put the time of the event and that sort of stuff. Now I know how to do it. Okay, my last few weren't very successful, but now I've learned how to do it. I'll do it properly. And if I get in, I get in. If I don't get in, I'll apologise and I'll just cancel the event and get rid of it, sort of stuff. But fingers crossed, I will. And I'll back it up by saying whatever's in the chat, I'll flip between the two screens, and if you've got a build, if you put it on the main page under the event, and just give me a build, and I'm using obviously Huggies. And I'll give it a go. That's it. Okay, I'll say goodnight.